She wants a young American. It's all right. She wants a young American.
Hannah,
Yes.
hundreds of people here celebrating David. All would like to hug him, but he's gone. What are your thoughts watching these crazy and wonderful people outside here?
I feel that these people, that I'm one of those people, their energy is beauty, their energy is peace and love, and they have the spirit of David. And I feel so at home with them because I feel the same way. But Bowie just opens up your heart.
Your famous quote, please.
I'm just a space cadet. He's the commander.
See, I'm just the space cadet. He's the commander.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But you are more than that quote. Please tell me about you.
Well, what happened to me, I've just written a book about the time when I was 14 to 16, because that's my real initial Bowie time. I was born in New York City, where there was lots of culture and wonderful things going on, a diverse community, people from all over the world. My classmates were full of all kinds of ethnicities, pardon me. And then we moved for my father's health to Arizona, which was so desolate and so gray and sandy, and there was no culture that I could relate to. So I was feeling very alone. And one day I heard something on the radio, and it was just a few bars of Changes. And I didn't know who that was, but it struck something inside me. I said, that voice, that sound, the Changes part, ooh, yeah, that kind of thing. And I was like, I gotta find out more. And then I loved the sound. And then when I saw what he looked like, I was in love. Who is this alien, this translucent being? I have to know more about him. So I became the biggest fan on the universe. I got everything I could find out. He made me not feel alone anymore.
Yeah, great answer. I've heard you interviewed yourself many stars.
I have.
Among them is Iggy Pop.
Oh yes, several times.
Please tell me, how is that guy?
He is amazing. He is so kind of dry and funny, but he's so kind, and he comes off like this tough kind of crazy guy. But when you talk to him, he's polite, and he wants to know about you. As much as you're talking to him, he wants to ask you about you. And he asked me where I was from, and where I grew up, where my parents were, kind of like this. But mostly we had to talk about what his new release was at the time. That's what we have to do, the business part. But it was just such a thrill to know that he was with Bowie. And I was fortunate enough to see Iggy when he performed with Bowie. And Bowie only played the piano, and he wore a cap and like a flannel shirt. And he just didn't even keep his face to the crowd. He just looked right at the piano. He didn't look at Iggy. And Iggy just did his thing, right after he produced, Lust for Life. One of the greatest things I ever saw was Bowie just being Mr. Jones.
Unbelievable. Did you, this is my last question, did you try to get David himself for an interview?
I never tried. I was kind of out of the music business. First of all, I have to say that I never saw the documentary that I was in until the 80s. I started my rock and roll career in the 70s. And I was the editor of Rock Magazine starting in 1976. Had I known that I was in a movie of his, because I just saw some camera guys just came up and talked to me at a concert. Had I known that I had said what I said and that it was on TV in England, and I would have absolutely gotten that interview. Because years later, my sister ran into him. I met Bowie several times myself, but years later, but I couldn't tell him about that because I didn't know about it. But years later, my sister, after I knew about it, met him at a party. And she said, my sister is the space cadet. And he goes, oh my, what's she doing? And my sister said, well, she's a hippie, because I was living in an orchard at the time. And he goes, so am I.
Wonderful story. Thank you, Hannah.
You're so welcome.
It's all right. She wants a young American.